All right. So, uh, conceptual. Here's what we're doing today. You actually got a day's worth of work to do, and this is graded, and it is does matter. And listen, we got to learn. COVID's complicating everything, so let's get going. All right. So, if you're in period one, you're going to be doing skill drill 310, drop 10. If you are instead in period 9, you're going to be doing actually the same skill drill. However, this skill drill based on what order we're going is called skill drill 3.9, drop 9. So it doesn't matter. It's the same skill drill. So you go and open it up. It's got different people's names depending on which class you're in. So that part varies, but the numbers are the same for this one. Okay. Beware. This skill drill will be quizzed tomorrow for all of you. Boom. There it is. Unit 3 quizzes. It's going to look exactly like, yeah, that's right. It's gray because you can't see it yet. Anyway, it's going to be exactly like this skill drill. Exactly like this skill drill. Not the same numbers, but the same process. So follow this along carefully today. Take it seriously. All right, so if we pop in here, it says it must be done on paper. Continue your old skill drills. You're, of course, going to click and submit. So let's go in here and have a look-see at this. All right. And what you'll see here are 3 questions. Now, it says very specifically, you will have a quiz like this tomorrow. It's going to be 3 questions. It's going to be 3 questions like this. You just have to be able to handle it. Now, it says do not rewrite the questions. You do not need to write them. Let's save a little time here. There's 3 things you have to do. Step 1, write the equation. Step 2, substitute. That means put the numbers in. Step 3, write the answer with the unit. So if we have a look over here, here's the questions. Let me pull up our smart notebook where we would normally do this in class. So I hope you did this on your own by the time you're watching this, because like I said, you will be quizzed on this. All right, anyway. This is what you're going to do. So this is skill drill, depending on your class. If you're period one, I'll do red, is day 16. If you're period 9, it's day 15. If you're period 1, this is skill drill 3.10, drop 10. If you're period 9, this is skill drill 3.9, drop 9. That's all. You guys have not always had the same skill drills offset days. In this case, you do. Drop 9. Learning your Roman numerals over here. All right. So, we're looking at period 1. Period 9, you get different names in here, but it's the same math. Mia dropped an apple from a window at a height of 15 meters above the ground. How long does our equation tell us the apple will take to hit the ground? That question is asking for time. How long will it take to hit the ground is a question about time. So if we come over here, we're actually looking for the time to drop. I'll put a little d for drop instead of writing out the full word drop. Well, we have an equation for that. We did it yesterday. Time to drop was the square root of the distance to drop over 5. So step 1 is write the equation. Time to drop, you're going to do this on the quiz too. Full square root, none of this little half square root nonsense. Distance to drop over 5. Everything has to be under the square root. I've been seeing some people doing this nonsense. No good. That's garbage. Don't do that. Okay, that's step 1. Step 2, substitute. Time to drop is going to equal square root the whole thing. Distance to drop in this case was 15 meters. So you could put over here, put 15. Put the little m in there for meters if you want. I'm not going to burn you for that either way. Over 5. And then finally, answer with the unit. Time to drop is. Now, I hope you're doing your math correctly here. This is 15 over 5. You do that first. So this is really, you can write a little intermediate step here. 15 over 5 is 3. So it's a square root of 3. And so the time to drop then is roughly 1.7 seconds. Square root of 3, I know, is around 1.7. Let me check on my calculator. What's the next digit? I don't remember. 3 square root 1.73. Fine. 1.73. You're probably good with 1.73. It's a time, so the unit is going to be seconds. Boom, there it is. Question 1 done. Full credit. Question 2. Now, I'm not writing out everything for you today because you can handle this. Question 2. How fast? Fast is speed. That's V. How fast was the apple going when it reached the ground? Not after it hit and stopped, but right when it first reached the ground. Well, then you would do the speed equation right here. It's 10 multiplied by the time to drop. So you need to write this equation here. I'm not writing it for you. Get on it, do it yourself, and send it in. Then you have to substitute in. It's going to be 10 times 1.73. And so your answer should come out to 17.3. And the unit for this one is a meter per second. Yes, I'm going to want you to know that tomorrow. The unit for speed is meter per second. As a bonus for tomorrow, you could turn that to miles per hour. Roughly double it. Roughly double. Actually, it's times 2.2 if you want to turn this to miles per hour. Times 2.2 if you want to turn this to miles per hour. And that'll get you a bonus credit. If you do it on this one, I'll give you a bonus credit. You'll see that's actually pretty significant, the amount of speed there. And then question 3. If Ian dropped another apple from a different window and it took 2 seconds to reach the ground, how high was the window? How high was the window? Oh, that's a distance. Remember here we said D was distance or height. That's this third equation. Here we're trying to find the distance to drop. This one, by the way, was the speed at the end. You've got an equation for that. The equation is right here. We practiced it yesterday. 5 times the time squared. And so if you plug that one in, 5 times the 1.73 is the time. You got to square the time first. Do you remember that? You got to square the time first. We practiced that quite a bit. So I'm going to try that out. First, you would do 1.73 squared. That gives you almost 3. Of course, square root of 3 squared should be 3. And whether you do it as 2.99 or 3, I don't care. And then times 5. Well, of course. Oh, scratch that. I made a mistake right there. Did you see the mistake? Ian dropped it from a different window. It took 2 seconds to reach the ground. Sorry, Ian, I was giving you that 1.73. It was not. It took 2 seconds to reach the ground. So we had the 5t squared. I'll write in the substituted one here because you might have been confused by what I just said. Distance to drop was 5 times the 2 seconds squared. If anybody caught that before I did, good for you. And now in this one, the math is actually a little easier. 2 squared gives you 4. You can do it in your calculator if you want. And then 4 times 5 is 20. So this should finally give you a distance to drop. Ian's window was not at 15 meters as Mia's was. Ian's window was all the way up at 20 meters. So this exact process you see here, the same math we did yesterday, that's it. 3 questions like that. That's going to be the amount of time you have to do it. Boom, that's your quiz tomorrow. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Okay. Now, let me pause you on that.